Hey everybody, welcome back to Race of History. We are going to do a salmonella video today. This is the second video today. I'm taking a little bit of a break from what I was doing, getting into something a little more funny. Salmonella's videos are hilarious to me. I've done a handful of them on the channel. This one's over at Diogenes, the publicly defecating philosopher. Let's get into it.
Hey kids, time for another hot steamy load of knowledge dripping down your neck and chest. Today, we're gonna talk about the greatest mind to ever live. Nope, not him. Nope. Keep trying. Who I'm really referring to is the ancient Greek philosopher known as Diogenes of Cynic. Diogenes followed the school of thought known as Cynicism. Far from the yelling at CNN, sitting down during the pledge kind of cynicism we know today, Cynic philosophy centers around the rejection of conventional desires in favor of a simple, moderate lifestyle. But while many philosophers made a virtue out of self-discipline, Diogenes took all that to a whole new level. He was the most down-to-earth guy out there. Literally, he lived on the ground, in a big tub in the marketplace where he'd beg for a living. For a while, his only possession was a wooden bowl, until one day he saw a child drinking out of his hands, and he was like, what do I need this shit for? Now, though his way of life and perspective was unique enough, it's the way Diogenes showed it that really set him apart from the rest. When someone today wants to go against society, they dye their hair blue and make a blog post about how there aren't any obese women of color in Super Smash Bros. On the other hand, when Diogenes has something
Yeah. He is going in.
to say, he just jerks off in public, takes a dump in the amphitheater, pisses on passerby, whatever. The way he saw it, he was just performing much needed bodily functions while also protesting the superficiality of the civilization around him. Keep in mind, though he was an unwashed, publicly defecating homeless man, that's not all he was. His wit was easily on par with his philosophical contemporaries, and his lack of inhibition meant that everyone knew it. For example, here's an often pondered question of the day. How do you define a human in the simplest of terms possible? Plato decided to tackle this question, and he came up with featherless biped. And in the ancient Greek,
There are some very interesting conversations and philosophical ideas that come out of Greece. Obviously, right? Some of the Greek philosophers are some of the most well-known philosophers of all time. However, on the flip side of that, for Diogenes, even the idea, because it's easy to see the thought process of people, society at large, just the whole idea that things are somewhat superficial. I feel like it's decently easy to at least see that viewpoint. I'm not sure you have to take it to the extent of jerking off in public. Maybe you do, I don't know. I've never walked a mile in his shoes. I'm just saying.
Greek world, they didn't have any kangaroos or gibbons or nothing, so people were the only things around that both walked on two legs and didn't have feathers. Plato thought he was real clever with that one. Diogenes, on the other hand, he wasn't having any of it, so he said, alright you pompous prick, I'll give you a featherless biped. So, in reality, we do not learn, and what we call learning is only a process of recollection. Oh god damn it, not you again. What's up fuckers? Hey, check out this person I found. Isn't it such a human? Look at him, wow. What a guy. Anyway, love to stay and chat, but I saw some trash outside that looked delicious. Smell you later, deliberator. Yes, my student? Yeah, what the fuck? Here's another anecdote. Macedonian King Alexander was a big fan of Diogenes, so he decided to pay him a visit. And he said, hey man, big fan. If there's any favor I can do for you, anything at all, just let me know, I'll make it happen. Now to put this into perspective, this is Alexander we're talking about. The guy who had his cousin straight up assassinated so he could take the throne. The guy who would later go on to conquer the majority of the civilized world. And you know what Diogenes?
Allegedly.
He says, he goes, yeah, you can do me a favor. Move over, you're in my light. Wow, I'm not even mad. You really are just a legend. Diogenes lived up to the ripe old age of 89. I don't know if that's a testament to his lifestyle or if he just got lucky, but either way, if there is a god, he definitely has a sense of humor. The exact cause of Diogenes' death varies depending on which source you look at. Some say he died from an infected dog bite. Others say it was from eating raw octopus. My favorite theory is that one day he just got tired of living, and he just held his breath till he died.
I actually heard an interesting theory about the theory that the idea of vampires comes from the biting and then spreading of rabies, right? From animal to human and then continuously on. And they match up a lot of the symptoms and then supposed, like, I guess, symptoms of being a vampire. That's a total sidebar, but it was sort of an interesting thing that I heard. Can you imagine talking to Alexander like that? There has to be, if you're a bystander or you're in Alexander's camp, when you hear that, you have to be thinking it's at least even odds that he dies, that Diogenes is killed right there, right? I mean, at least, if you're making a bet on that, it's at least 50-50 that Alexander takes out his sword and cuts his head off. I feel like, I feel like that definitely could have happened. Ballsy.
He left behind instructions on what to do with his body after he passed. Now, when people think of special post-mortem instructions like these, they usually think, scatter my ashes at 6:53 a.m. off the western face of Mount Rainier using my grandfather's favorite ladle. None of that with Diogenes. He kept it simple. In the words of Danny DeVito,
when I'm dead, just throw me in the trash.
Specifically, he wanted his body tossed into the wild so animals could feast on him, thereby giving back to the earth what little he took from it. So kids, moral of the story, don't judge a book by its cover. The man who appears to be nothing more than a shit-smeared babbling vagrant could actually be the wisest man you'll ever meet. Or he could really just be a raving fucking lunatic. Bring a knife, just in case.
Yeah.
Anyway, till next time, I'm Salmonella, and thank you for watching.
Definitely don't trust strangers, children. Please, 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 please don't go trust strangers. Also, I'm curious as to I don't know, for specifically the idea of philosophy, there's an idea, at least in my head, that it may not be so much being super smart, although you certainly can't be like a dummy, but I feel like it's almost just a different way of thinking. Like the brain thinks in a very broad, abstract way that most, like, I'll give you an example, okay? There's I took a geology class in college where basically you just study rocks, the test comes, you write down whatever rock you're looking at the time, right? And they're labeled 1 through whatever, 1,000. And the teacher for the geology class, or the professor, said, I have a handful of kids every year throughout all my classes that don't study at all, that literally go through and look at them, and they're really, really, really good at it. And he said they all normally work with their hands. He's got one that's a mechanic, but they all work with their hands, and they all do something where essentially, like, if you had to take apart and put back together an engine, right? You would have to know where everything came from, where everything went, and you could get that way with a ton of practice. But your brain might just be wired in a way where that's more simple for you to do than the average person. I don't know, but for philosophy in general, I feel like it draws a very specific type of person, and those type of people tend to think in a different way than I would say just the average human, right? Not to say that Diogenes is dumb. That's not my argument here. But I was just saying, for the idea of philosophy in general, I feel like the people that are really good at it, it's not simply that they're smart. It's that their brain just works in a little bit of a different way. But that was another hilarious video by Sam O'Nella. I love his stuff. If you have any other recommendations or suggestions, whatever, you can put it down in the comments below. You can go over to the Discord. I'll put the link in the description box below. There's a page on there where it's for the YouTube channel and recommendations and stuff. So either one of those places, put it on there. I'll see it. I'll put it on my list and I'll get to it. With that being said, as always, like, comment, subscribe. Help me keep building the channel over here. And I will see you all next time.